away for a week because we've been so busy selling tulips all the time. Although we haven't been selling as many from the roadside stand this week, but we've done 3 markets now, and they've all done really well. And we're editing a ton of videos, and it's a holiday weekend here in Canada. I'm not sure if that's everywhere.
I think.
But kids are home for the long weekend, and we have lots of stuff to do on the farm. And it's just the task list. He's like, ooh, and every day we get this much done, and then we get this much more to do.
The one good thing is that the weather has been so bad. It's been so cold that even though there's a lot of the task list is getting things planted, but we can't plant anything because the weather's been so bad.
Yeah.
So we're not falling too far behind on that.
Yeah,
and then the weather being so bad, it's not like anything's growing. So, that's giving us a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah. Having stuff in the ground, they probably would have liked to get established in all this cool weather, but it's just not in the cards for us. We're only 2 people.
Well, no, everything that's kind of waiting to get planted now needs warmer weather.
Yeah.
And even the cooler stuff doesn't like how cool it's been.
Mm-hmm. The point is, we're only 2 people, and that's a confirmed fact.
You still have to be back in a second.
Is there somebody in the stand?
No, but I think I just saw Bo walk out to the front.
Oh. We can, like, where we're sitting here, that light coming in is like the roadside stand. But, Bo was just walking out to the busy road that goes in front of our house, and he's not supposed to do that. So Bo is still scared of our kitten, because we've had our kitten now for a couple weeks, and Bo has been living in the outbuilding. The kitten's doing good. He's him and Buddy are becoming friends. They cuddle together.
Yeah, they snuggle, which is like adorable.
Yeah. For like the first little bit, the kitten was just jumping all over Buddy, and Buddy was like, "Oh, stop it," which is a little bit of when you get your taste of your own medicine. When somebody gets to taste their own medicine, it's hard to feel too bad for them. So it's hard to feel too bad for Buddy getting a taste of his own medicine because he always bugs Bo. But now he's got a little kitten friend, and they're both kind of inside cats. Even though I see Buddy outside in the videos all the time, he mostly prefers to stay inside. So they're like hanging out, and Sam is like loving the kitten. He's just like building all these little forts and stuffing the kitten in cardboard boxes, and we're like, kitten seems to like it. Kitten is most closely bonded with Sam compared to anyone else. Like, he doesn't mind me because I put food out for him, but I've been so busy that I haven't really had a lot of time to interact with him. So Sam has been going hard with him all the time. That's fun to see.
Yeah, Sam, he got a cold, like a chest cold, the worst kind to get in the world of COVID. So he had like a cough, and so we couldn't send him to school, and so he was home for 2 weeks. But it was exactly when we got the kitten, so Sam and the kitten just like played together all day, every day. So the kitten was stoked to have high energy Sam running around with them.
And then Leah would play with him, and she'd get a little bit bored. She wouldn't play as long as Sam would play with him. And then I was like, he's more closely bonded with your brother. And she's like, no. But the kitten crawls into bed with Leah at night, so he obviously he likes her.
No, the kitten likes both the kids.
He likes both the kids more than he likes.
He's like Buddy, the cat that he's like being all friends with, is the same way. He probably likes the kids more than he likes us.
Yeah.
Right. And he just like wants to get like grabbed and hang out with kids all the time. But
I've been working on a video all day that should be released tomorrow. We're gonna, if you release a video, it kind of needs to have a little bit of space to breathe. So by doing this live stream today, and then releasing a video tomorrow, tomorrow's video is going to step on this live stream's push out, but we don't really care. We're just doing it for fun because we like to.
Our goal with the videos is like to try to get the videos out kind of like Friday, Saturday from the week before. which means that that's kind of us like working on it, and then like the run up to the market comes, and we get busy with that. But
we've got ambitious plans this week.
So the goal is that the videos go out like Friday morning, basically. Oh, we got Bo in here. You better grab him again.
I'm trying
to. But we, things were just too busy, just too crazy, and so just bring Bo. So we ended up, being a little bit late. But, so the video that Ian's been working on, which for sure is going out tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Ian's like,
it's pretty close.
Ian almost has it finished. It is not from this weekend that just happened, but it's from the weekend before. What's it about? I don't know. Ian's been making it. What, other than tulips?
It's like a farmer's market harvest video. Yeah, it's like...
it's the one after Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's the one after Mother's Day.
Right? So we were nervous that I was getting chased by the kitten. We were nervous that we weren't going to be able to sell anything.
Yeah,
because Mother's Day was
crazy.
Was the first market, and it was crazy. But it's Mother's Day. It's a huge day.
Yeah, easy sell.
Yeah. But so that was what was happening. Lots of tulips.
But that was the previous video. This video is
that's the video. Yeah.
It's like the follow-up. And yeah, it's fun. I've been, it takes a lot of time to sync up all that music and to make, hours of harvesting tulips or anything, the simple act of harvesting, to make it visually interesting. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So
and part of that is we've been doing lots and lots of filming of the tulips, because we've talked about this a bunch in the live videos, but we got a filmmaking grant. And for the filmmaking grant, the main video that we're making is going to be all about, like the year of farming. So we're filming all year, and then we're going to kind of put that together in the fall. But another part of it was we had to make a second video, and the topic is going to be all about tulips. So we've been filming, normally we sit down and we have like 2 to 3 hours of footage.
Yeah.
But we've been filming lots of extra footage to be able to have lots and lots of stuff about tulips for this like other video that we're making. So we've been sitting down, and it's like 4 hours of footage.
It's a lot of footage.
And then, and then we crunch it down. Our goal is always for them to be shorter than a half an hour.
They don't always make it.
But
sometimes we hit that cutoff time where it's like, it's just like, I can't find another 2 minutes to shave without, disrupting all of the editing that we've already done, because everything gets all timed to the music, and so you're just like, that's enough. It's going out. Serina, this one's over a half hour.
And then I'm like, just do it. And just make it shorter.
And then you watch it and you're like, I could have cut that a bit more. We're not that interesting that we have to talk for 32 minutes.
I'm really good at cutting. Especially when it's to get to under a half an hour. Mm-hmm. I'm like 29.59 is always achievable.
It's kind of, for us, it's the theory of, like price tags. When you go to buy something, it's always $1.99 or $9.99 instead of $10 or whatever. It's like 29.59 minutes, and people are like, oh well, I'll click on that. But if it's like 30 minutes, then they're like, geez, I could watch an episode of Friends.
I feel like if it's over 30 minutes, people feel like it's an hour.
Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi?
Wait, so this is something that I wanted to ask all of you guys in the live video, because
look who dropped
we're working on.
So cuddly.
We're trying to get organized. we're making all these videos, and because we have to make this like bigger video all about tulips, and then we're kind of trying to plan what's coming up next, and so we are making we're working with like Skillshare for one of our videos that's coming up, and we've been thinking about Skillshare. and about, you know, because we like sharing education stuff, but it doesn't really do very well when we put it up on this channel here.
Just, you know, it's just the way that YouTube works.
Yeah. So, you know, so when we put up educational stuff, it doesn't really do very much on our channel, and it negatively affects the other videos that we do. So I was just kind of curious if anyone in our audience like uses Skillshare, if anyone like has like a Skillshare account, because you know we have like a trial on the Skillshare, and we've been looking through it, and there's like really not very much about anything to do with flowers on there. There's a handful of like videos that are really good about floristry, but there's you know like a dozen. There's not like 100.
Yeah.
If you want to like know how to draw flowers, there's like 1,000 videos on Skillshare. But yeah, so I was, you know, because we were like, oh, maybe we should think about making a few videos for Skillshare, because it's, you know, you know, you have to pay to access the videos. It's not free like the YouTube. But you know, there's definitely
there's opportunities if you can put videos up on Skillshare that get views and get watch time, then you can actually get compensated, you know, per view, per watch time, probably significantly greater than you do on YouTube. And so we're just, you know, like, so our problem is that the farming takes a lot of time, and the farm could be run a lot better if we didn't do YouTube.
Well, we're
no,
like,
just let me talk.
We're going to do YouTube.
Yeah,
yeah,
just let me talk.
Okay.
So it takes like so much time, and then the YouTube takes like a really long time. It takes a long time to edit the videos. It takes a lot of time to just film the videos. It takes a lot of time to have the cameras all set up and upload and deal with all the data. Like, it takes a lot of time to deal with all the emails for the channel. You know, there's just so many time constraints. And so what my ultimate goal for the farm is that maybe we can make enough revenue that we can actually like hire an employee to help us in, you know, different ways. And Serina won't be like, that's taking all of our money away, you know, that all of these business, because it's like, yeah, we make some money on YouTube. Yeah, we make some money on the farm. But, you know, you all know it's like super expensive to, you know, just do anything, to buy anything, you know. Everything you need on the farm, you need tons of it. You need huge quantities, you know, you need vehicles, you need, just every time you turn around, there's money needs. And so my goal is to get to the point where we can have an employee that makes sense financially. We're actually making money, and you know, maybe if we make some Skillshare videos that make some money, you know, maybe that's a way that we can, you know, put some content over there, and then we can do some content on YouTube. Like what we've talked about for the channel is we basically just kind of want to stick with the 30-minute vlog format. You know, not always 30 minutes. Sometimes you don't have 30 minutes worth of things to show in you know, what happened in the week. But we kind of, you know, YouTube likes it when you have a certain level of sameness. And so, you know, just vlogs on the channel, you know, maybe an occasional, like we did with the paper pots video, but try to just, you know, instead of making something a video on its own, just put it into a vlog, and people watch the vlogs.
Which is kind of like what we do already.
Yeah. We've been kind of doing that for a while. Just because if you're like, oh, I'm a how-to channel now, and then, oh, I'm a vlog channel now, you know, it just messes with YouTube. And so like that's when the sameness comes into play. So maybe there's another home for that content that we still,
you know, the kitten's chasing Bo. Oh, here, we'll save you, we'll protect you. Bo's like silent. He like never makes noise.
Except for the whiniest sounds.
So the fact that he's making any sort of sound, poor guy. Yeah. You know, it's this winter we made a video that people had asked us like again and again and again for, about like, you know, just the basics of putting together a bouquet.
We made a really nice version of it.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, you know, we can put a lot of effort into stuff. Sometimes the stuff that does the best on YouTube is the things that we put the least effort into. No, kitten. He's like, oh, you have Bo trapped for me? Okay. Hey, grab the kitten. And then he can't chase Bo.
Well, I can't really hold on to him. He's got his little kitten claws.
But he didn't instantly chase after Bo. Kitten.
He doesn't really like pets yet.
Yeah, he doesn't like getting grabbed. Okay, what am I saying? Okay, so we made this arranging video, and it did really badly.
Yeah.
And really so it was kind of making us think that, like, oh, you know, like maybe this is the type of content that would do better if we did it somewhere else. The kitten's name is Dusty, we decided.
Yeah.
But he thinks his name is Kitten. He responds to Kitten, but
he doesn't respond to this though.
He's looking at you.
Oh.
Kitten.
You know, I think this is one of the things that I've thought about, you know, teaching when you want to, you know, pass knowledge on. And if you make a video that's about, you know, showing how to do this, how to make paper pots, and it gets 3,000 views because YouTube doesn't know what to do with it when you upload it, or you put that same information in like an entertaining framework of like a vlog and it gets 40,000 views, well, you know, that same information just got passed to a much larger audience. You know, maybe not everybody was looking for that, but that's kind of how I think some of us learn the best, is like, you know, when it comes about organically in the story, it's like, oh, hey, look, this is a good opportunity to talk about this that, you know, we've come across. And then, you know, it just makes sense. And it doesn't feel like you're sitting down and watching, like, you're like, oh, I'm so bored, you know, can you just get to the part where you show me the thing that I need to know? I just like it because, you know, the whole, you know, overarching theme of this channel for me is entertainment, right? We're trying to entertain, and then everything else that comes along with that is just like cherries on top, right?
Yeah.
So,
and for me, with like the idea of maybe making some videos for Skillshare, that's also about, you know, people have asked us like, oh, would you maybe make educational content like in the future? Like, would we maybe, you know, make like, you know, a small course or something?
Yeah.
And that's like we have no time. There's like zero time. So, you know, we're not necessarily like, that's like a big commitment to sit down, you know, to create a course. Would be like, it would take us a year, right? And it would be like,
oh, why haven't you written your book yet?
Yeah.
Oh, hey guys, why haven't you fixed your signage yet? Oh, guys, you know, it's all just like, because, you know, we're making videos. The YouTube is like brutal because if you take a break, you know, if you just stop posting, then you have to like make a video to prime the algorithm again, to let them know that you're making videos again. You know, maybe you have to make a bunch of videos to get the videos being shown to people again. So you have to like produce content, and that's part of the creator burnout pattern that happens with people, is that, you know, you just have to make stuff for YouTube. So we have to prioritize that and other things.
Yeah, and you, like, we are making enough money on YouTube that it makes sense to prioritize it. You know, it's a little tricky with the farm and the YouTube, because everything, it's like, it's at the point that it's sustainable, but it's like not comfortable.
No.
Right? So it's like, we can pay the bills with what we're doing, but only if we work all the time to do what we're doing. If it could grow just a little bit bigger, then it would get us like a little bit more of a buffer money wise.
Yeah.
So that we could create time space to be able to then go think about doing, you know, other additional things, you know, which would then continue to snowball to, you know, lead to more success.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where it's just, you know, and like the nice thing is, so this is 4th year on the farm, you know, and it's feeling like it's getting better. You know, like it's still a heavy workload, but like a lot of the infrastructure is getting there.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, every year that we don't have to do a major infrastructure project is, you know, like all that time that we spent in the past is now making up for it, like in the present. Right? So it's like this year with the sales, right? Like we just pop things in the farm stand, and it sells, and we don't have to, you know, go to a second market, you know, and we don't have to build the farm stand. You know, there's still some things that we're, you know, having to, like the finishing touches that we still need to do on the farm stand, you know, which is like we're trying to find time to do it. But once that's done, then it's just like, oh, I have to clean the farm stand once a week, and, you know, just keeping it restocked. That's like a very easy workflow.
You know, also,
you know, like I think about the outbuilding, right? We look back sometimes, our very first videos on this property, because if you go back, we have videos from when we were in our residential home, and, you know, the first year of videos was all about us getting the outbuilding, you know, kind of like usable.
A lot of projects on that outbuilding.
Yeah, we spent like 6 months before we even started the farm just working on the outbuilding, you know, and that was a huge amount of work. And then, you know, I look back into the year after that, and the outbuilding was so messy because it was still full of things. And, you know, then we painted the wood, and, you know, last year we painted the mural. And now when I'm in there, it's like, it's so nice.
Yeah, we got all the lights installed.
Right? And like we were like filming videos.
It used to be so dark in there.
Yeah, like we were saying the other day, we're like, oh, it's so messy. It's like hard to like film in here. You know, and it's never looked better. It's just that our standards of like what we want are getting higher. But it's, you know, I feel by next year, our workflows in the outbuilding are going to be like nailed in. You know, it's going to be easy to keep clean. It's going to be easy, you know, to use that space really well. Yeah. And all of that makes the time easier. You know, one of the things that we did this year, you know, it's these like tiny things that that you like, you're like, oh, how much time is that going to save you? Like, oh, it saves you like 5 minutes, but then 5 minutes over the course of a year actually gets you. That's the difference between like, you know, I'm so tired at the end of the year that I like can't do anything but sleep till February hits, and it's like time to start the farm again. But so we bought some metal racks on wheels, and the whole concept of it was, it's so much work to be bringing buckets in and out of the outbuilding one at a time, for harvesting and arranging and all that. And, you know, we were thinking more for the summer, but I've been using them tons for the tulips, because I wheel the racks out to the garage door, which is where our cooler is. I unload the cooler onto this rack, and then I roll it in. And even, you know, I use them now, even if I'm only moving one bucket, because the physicalness of carrying one bucket and slopping water all over me versus putting it on the cart and wheeling it, like it makes a huge difference for quality of life. So, you know, there's, as you keep doing these things, you keep learning better ways to do these things, you know, and it all just gets easier. So, you know, like, so I'm hopeful that, you know, we're on the cusp of things getting easier. I'm hopeful that, you know, this year for the farm, we cut back on a huge amount of stuff, right? Because we were just making our lives difficult by growing everything, you know, and then it not selling, and, you know, it just being...
Yeah, we donated almost $7,000 worth of food to the food bank, according to the food bank.
And their records are by weight. So that would mean that like our salad mix that we donated to the food bank was worth like $0, even though it's like one of like our really valuable items for us. Gentle,
I want to show them.
No, they've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, don't. He hates getting grabbed. Sam really wants to show you guys the kitten. Okay, just let him go. He was playing with his toys.
Yeah, he was chewing on his tail.
No, he's chewing on something.
Yeah, he's playing with your little army men. Ian's trying to get him to be crazy. Jump up for you guys to see.
Attack my face.
Yeah, just attack Ian's face, kid.
You know. Okay. Yep.
Okay, let him go.
Let him go. Or take him away.
Or go take him back up to the room.
Lock him in.
So, Daddy, would tell me that I
After the video. Half an hour.
So, you know, this summer or this winter, past winter, it was kind of tough because the channel started making like no money. The views went down. So hopefully, you know, now that we got the farmers market and the flowers, you know, the content is more interesting for people, and the channel can start to get a little hot again, and you know, life's a lot easier with just the flowers and not the veggies, because you know, obviously when you're growing food,
I think that's maybe something worth talking about, because we haven't really talked about it too much in the live videos, and we don't really go into it too much in the video itself.
You know, I love growing food. I love talking to people about food at the market. I like going down to the food bank and dropping off a bunch of food. You know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like we're doing the right stuff. And Serina is like, you know, her number one passion is like growing food over flowers. You know, that's something she's always really just been drawn to naturally. And
that's why I'm team veggies.
Yeah. But, you know, there's just not a lot of money in it compared to the flowers, and there's so much more demands on your time, and you know, you have to be very, you know, like if food is going to waste in the farm because you're not picking it, you know, you're like, well, we should harvest that and get that down to the food bank at least, or whatever, you know, like you just feel guilty if it dies in the field. So this year, because we don't have the employee, like we just can only do so many things. We're already falling behind because it's just the two of us, you know, just with all the schedules that we'd like to stay up to, and it's like to throw growing food on top of that, it's just too much. You know, we'll have the carrots, we'll have the greens, you know, when the time comes, but that's not going to be a focus, and you know, it's not the most important part of the farm this year. But, you know, like next year we can grow food. If the farm does really good and YouTube takes off and all of a sudden we're making enough money where it's like, you know what, if we can hire somebody to, you know, do childcare or to do this or do that to help out, whatever it is, farm work, bouquet making, wherever the holes are that we want to fill with, you know, some paid labor, then we can think about bringing food back, right? If the roadside stand is bumping and people are like buying carrots and greens out of the roadside stand like crazy, then next year we can go bigger on it, right? There's no constraints.
To give a little context, you know, kind of looking at the comments too, you know, someone in there was asking like why we can't have another employee. So we decided not to have an employee because basically, you know, when we factored in the cost of an employee, it's not like we worked any less last year than what we're going to work this year. We were still working all the time. But when you factor in the cost of having an employee, and it would be hard for us to get an employee that was as good of a deal.
Our employee last year, you know, she was an experienced agricultural employee who spent the previous year working on a market garden, you know, in our area, and is a lifetime gardener and one of our friends.
She didn't want to work full time. It would be almost impossible to find someone who didn't want full time, because hours is money. Kids. playing upstairs.
Yeah.
That the hours cost money, right? So anytime we would have an employee here that when we didn't really need them, that's just like burning through money. But yeah, so in the end, we didn't make any more money with an employee. We probably actually made less money because it doesn't matter how much you can produce, it matters how much you can sell. And so we're more limited by what we can sell than we are by what we can produce. So we could have a staff of 10 people here growing food like crazy, but it doesn't really, you can't do that if you can't sell 10 times as much with the labor. So we decided it would be better to sell less, but not have to pay for an employee. We'd actually be better off money-wise.
But we also
and then the other thing too is that, it's not necessarily that flowers are more profitable than food. It's not that food can't make money. It's that we found that the flowers are selling better, right? So we can't be focused on what grows well or what price tag we can put on something. What we need to be focused on is like what actually sells.
Yeah.
And so we saw the roadside stand, people wanted to buy flowers at the roadside stand. Down at the farmer's market, people wanted to buy flowers down at the farmer's market. It wasn't last year, my big thing about why I was like, okay, you know what, let's just scale back on the veggies. Last year, our veggie sales were the same as our veggie sales the year before, but last year we were sending, double, triple the amount of veggies down to the market. So we were putting more effort into veggies last year, but we didn't see any returns.
Sometimes I come close, like not completely, you're never going to completely sell out of food at the farmer's market, seemingly, but I'd come close. I'd sell 80% of what I bring down or 90% of what I bring down sometimes. And even then, on those markets, the value of the food that I sold in dollars was a third of the total market sales. 2/3 of the market sales, almost to the T, every single market was flowers. And on the roadside stand, it was almost like 90%.
Yeah, like 95.
Of, we'd have this huge merchandised veggie section. We only had it for a handful of weeks. But, all these veggies and then flowers.
The whole time it was open, we had an entire, the whole thing was filled with veggies and a few bouquets. We'd go out there, none of the veggies would have sold and the bouquets are gone.
Yeah. So
one of the things I wanted you to talk about is the fact, now that you've done 3 markets, is about how doing just flowers has changed doing the market to make it easier, right? Because I think that's like a big factor in the success.
There's a lot of loading up and unloading with the flowers, getting in and out of the truck, moving Tupperwares around or Rubbermaids, and just time. Like
you said with the flowers.
Oh, with the food. There's so much more setup time. And this is like a side note thing, but because we film videos and I have to film the market, I have to get everything set up before this beam of light comes across the table, and so I have to be set up, before 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, before this beam of light comes and ruins all my shots.
Also when the market starts.
Yeah, but I have to be doing all my filming for it before that, because if it's a sunny morning and that sun comes in, it just ruins how the market footage looks. And then then you get hit with the rushes and you never get a good shot for the video of what everything looks like. So I was getting up so early and going to bed late for the market days that it would just destroy me. I'd be so tired.
And I want to put a few details in to make people understand, because the numbers make it pretty clear. When I make the buckets that Ian takes down to the farmer's market, I was putting 4 bouquets into each of the metal buckets. And then, Ian would then put 2 buckets in a black crate. So each of those buckets had $80 worth of product in it. Each of those black crates with 2 buckets had $160 worth of product in it, already merchandised. All he had to do was pull it out. It's already merchandised. How many bags of greens fit in one of those crates? It wasn't 10. It was like 8. Yeah. Okay. So, or when we like pack up greens mixes into one of those crates, which is like one of our higher priced items, those crates would hold 8 bags of greens.
Or maybe a 7.
I think 8 is safe to say, but 8 bags of greens, which means that crate would then hold $40 worth of product if it all sold. Right?
And that's like one of the high end stuff.
Yeah, and and for the greens, like our bunches of greens, like bunches of kale, they were $3 or 2 for $5, and we used the big Rubbermaids for that. And the amount of value that would be in one of those, like, I don't think they'd hold 20. I don't even think there was like $50 in there.
Yeah.
Those bins could have had like $30 worth of product.
Oh yeah.
And he would then have to get to the market, open it up, put them out, display them, move them around.
Yeah, because I'd set stuff up and then I'd shuffle things around for, how does it look this week? Like, where do I want to put things? What am I going for? And now with the flowers, it's just like, I just try to have, a variety of colors at the front, and then everything else is in the back, because it's going to start selling so quick that I'm not too concerned about, as long as I have the full selection out front, whatever's behind it doesn't matter. And then I got the dried flowers up top, and those kind of like fill in. So I've got like some stuff to do as the day goes on, but it's like way less. And I don't have to deal with, like, this sounds silly, but I don't have to deal with making change, right?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even used my coin jar of like loonies and toonies and quarters and stuff this year, because it's $20. It's $20 or it's $40. Those are the price points. So the only time you're making change is if somebody hands you a 50, right, or 100 or whatever, and you got to make change for it. But that's just bills, and so I'm not getting backlogged on customers. It's smooth and easy.
Like, is it making?
Oh yeah.
Like, so I went down to the farmer's market
casual.
this last weekend, and at one point I had a lineup. Ian like took the kids and he did a round, and I had a lineup. I had 3 women who were together. They were buying $100 worth of stuff, and then I had another set of women who were buying 2 bouquets, and someone else who wanted a single bouquet. So I was serving 6 customers. They had $160 in their hand, and it was super simple, right? And because the other thing about, like, down at the farmer's market is if people have to wait too long, they won't. They'll leave, right? Because they'll be like, oh, I'll just buy it when I come round again, and then they won't, right? Because everyone has bunches of kale, so there's no reason for them to stick around to buy your bunches of kale.
Yeah, the biggest lie that's told at the market is, I'll see you on my way out. That's the biggest lie that's told at the farmer's markets.
Yeah. In fact, it's so much of a lie that because people buy flowers and be like, can I pick this up on the way out? And I personally prefer to, like, get contact information when they do that.
I tell them, I'm like, every week somebody leaves a bouquet with me, which isn't entirely true.
Isn't true, but it also isn't not true.
Yeah.
That they, like, bought a $20 bouquet and they're so unlikely to come back at the end of when they're leaving the market.
One market,
they won't even pick up what they already paid for.
A vendor bought a bouquet from me this not this market, but the one before, and then they forgot to pick it up, so they called a different vendor to grab it for them, who was still there, and they obviously lived close. I was like, yeah, sure. Here you go. But every week people will, or it'll be like they'll be walking around the market for like an hour, which is a long time to shop. And
I mean, like, I could spend an hour at that.
Yeah,
market.
totally. I mean, it's an amazing farmer's market.
I mean, I go do the rounds and I like spend 2 hours, but it's because I'm talking to everyone.
I'm actually really excited about doing the flowers this year, like just the flowers, because I feel like I'm going to actually finally be able to engage with the other market vendors more so. Every week you're kind of next to different stalls. So over time, you see the same faces that are in your general area, and you talk to them, or you talk to the other farmers, or there's some people that that you talk to, and then you get introduced to new vendors as different people are beside you for different periods of time. But there's people that are on the other side of the market that are like, oh, you're a vendor, I'm a vendor too. Like I haven't even seen you here before, because I can't leave the stand when I'm selling food, right? I'm like, oh, Serina, come take a break so I can go pee,
Yeah, Ian loves it when I come down because it means he can like go use the bathroom.
Yeah, because you're like,
I don't want to miss
any
at the
sales.
bathrooms. He's not even.
Yeah. So selling flowers is so casual in comparison, and it's like I don't have to. If I leave the stand and I'm just like tell the vendor next to me, I'm like, hey, everything's $20. If somebody wants to buy something, it's $20. That's
and vendors, that's like a total normal thing.
Yeah.
Like
then they're like, sure, that's fine. And you don't have to sell flowers. You don't have to be like, oh, hey, have you tried kohlrabi? Right? Like, oh, what's that?
Oh, hey, did you know that flowers are beautiful?
Yeah. We've got these shishito peppers. Do you like hot food? Like you don't have to. It's like they're coming up. They want to buy the flowers already. They see the flowers. They look amazing. Like, how much are these flowers? Let me have some. So I can just go and I can walk around the market and I can like have casual time and I can,
Though.
I'm not bringing a chair.
Are you telling me you're like ditching the stand to go like hang out?
No, but I can leave the stand, right? I can.
Yeah, to like use the washroom.
Well, I sold out at 10:30 on the first market, right? So like
he says this, and I'm like, how many dried flowers did you sell?
$100.
Yeah, but how many more could you have sold if you were trying to sell them all market?
$40. So you can charge me. You can send me an invoice for $40.
Well, I can't.
But I also need your credit card.
Because you would pay it with my money.
I would pay it with your money.
Okay, so I feel like we haven't. This is a point that like I really want to stress to you guys, because I think that this is one of those things that's kind of lost in translation in the videos, which is the work. There's so much work that's involved in the market that just kind of isn't visible and it isn't seen. So like, what time were you getting up last year? Like 3:30, 4?
I think I started setting my alarm for like 3:30, 3:45. But I was going to bed late too.
Okay, so let's be generous. Let's say Ian was getting up at 4 in the morning, Saturday mornings, to get down to the farmer's market that starts at 8 o'clock, right? So
and then goes to 1. And then I was there. I was one of the last vendors to finally get out every week because
we have so much stuff to pack back up because all the food wouldn't sell, so all get back into those million bins. But so getting up at 4 is like very early. That's like painfully early. But the other part of it is Fridays would be crazy busy with us trying to get everything harvested all day Friday to get down to the market.
Yeah.
Because even though we had the fridge, there's still lots of things that we wanted to be like super fresh.
Yeah.
Right? So like quite often stuff like cherry tomatoes, we'd want to be harvesting those on the Friday to go down to the Saturday market because their shelf life isn't very long. You can't put those in the fridge to extend their shelf life. So it was a super, super busy day on Fridays. Ian would often be staying up late to be supporting me to be able to send down $2,000 worth of stuff to the market for him to sell. He'd be going to bed like at midnight, getting 4 hours of sleep, and then like going off and doing a super long day. Now, because of the fact that the flowers are so much easier to pack up, easier to unpack at the market, so much smaller to transport, all these little factors add up to now Ian's getting up at what, 5?
Yeah, which is closer to usually my alarm goes off at 6. So getting up at 5 isn't too much of a difference. And then before it would take me almost an hour to pack the truck up in the morning. And so like I would wake up and I'd be like, well, okay, here we go. I gotta film some stuff. I gotta like do this. I'm so tired. Oh my God. And it's just like a busy time. And now it's like, it literally takes me 20 minutes to pack the truck up and be ready to go. So I'm like, I'm casual.
Do you feel like you could maybe even go to bed a little bit later? Or like sleep in a little bit later? Ian?
Yeah.
Like you could maybe even, if you wanted, do like 5:30.
You gotta wait.
Why don't you go grab them ice creams and then when we finish the video. So Ian's able to sleep later, which makes a big difference. And he's also able to go to bed early, right? Because he's not with flowers. He's not doing any harvesting on the Friday. I'm like with the flowers, like our normal routine for the flowers is we want the flowers to rest and be hydrated for about 24 hours before we process them. So, we kind of want our flowers picked like Thursday night to be able to arrange them on Fridays to be able to sell for Saturdays. And the flowers actually do a lot better by processing them that way than they would if we picked them all day Friday and then got them ready and sent them down to the market on Saturday. Because of how we process the flowers, it's even though we're taking an extra day, we're handling them in the way to optimize their shelf life. So taking that extra day isn't actually taking time off of the longevity of the flowers. But so basically, like on Thursday, Ian and I will be doing lots of harvesting. I'm assuming that Ian will be doing more flower harvesting assistance with me than he has in the past. And then so in the videos, I've been staying up till 4 a.m. But that's not the plan because the flowers should already be harvested on Fridays. I just need to get working on making bouquets earlier on Friday. The only reason why I've been staying up till 4 a.m. is because I've been like, oh, I don't have to do this. It's going to take no time. And then I get distracted and I don't actually get an opportunity to do the work until kind of the kids go to bed. And then I end up staying up all night. But my friend is going to come and she's going to help me out on Fridays to help me put bouquets together, as we go into the summer season. So I'm actually going to have someone coming, giving me a hand. If arranging the flowers takes 8 hours or 10 hours, in order to put together, 50 for the market and 30 for the roadside stand, let's say I can do 10 an hour, so I need 80, it's going to take 8 hours. If she comes and she helps me, that's not going to take me eight hours anymore. Now it's going to take the two of us together 4 hours. It's going to make the day a lot more reasonable. And then I'm also going to have someone here helping me. So there's going to be no reason to start doing the work at 10 o'clock at night because, no one else is crazy like me and wants to stay up late. So it also means that, I'm going to be more organized. I'm not going to be staying up till 4 a.m. And basically market day is going to go from being this type of day that just kind of destroyed the rest. Saturday evening was a write-off. Ian would come home from the market, he'd go to bed, I'd be able to get through Saturday. I'd be running on limited sleep. The kids would let me sleep in, but there wasn't much I could do on Saturdays other than just look after the kids. And then I'd kind of be recovering on Sundays. Now we're at the point that it's we could go and do something on a Saturday night if we want, because
if we have friends.
Because
you guys are our only friends.
Because we're rested enough. If Sundays now, instead of just being this chaos day, Ian, has been kind of coming home and doing work on videos on Sundays.
Saturday?
No, because Sundays used to still be, because I'd be kind of out of it on Sundays and you'd still not be 100%.
You're just saying coming home.
Yeah, but yeah. In fact, Ian was saying to me the other day, he was like, and this is something he never said ever last year, but he was like, oh, maybe we should think about doing a second market
and I don't know if
in the summer season.
I don't know if it's something we'll be able to pull off this year, just because we're so behind on a bunch of stuff. But in the future, I could see it.
But to put, if it takes me 10 an hour for the bouquets, and Ian was wanting to do like a market, and I was going to send him down with 50 bouquets, that'd be like 10 hours of work. I probably could find 5 hours on a Monday and 5 hours on a Tuesday for him to then go off, and it wouldn't destroy his week too, right? But
I'm trying to lure the kitten in.
He really likes pipe cleaners.
This is one of his
This
favorite
is like
toys.
one of his favorite toys. What? This and like tiny little teddies. The kids have all these like little McDonald's teddy toys, little Happy Meal toys. The kitten has like crazy kitten eyes.
He like vibrates, like, I want it.
Okay, so what do you think, Ian? Like, it's making a big difference, right? Like the flowers, like the quality of life.
And our sales have been good.
Yeah.
The
sales have been really strong. This week is the first time we've seen any sort of slump on the sales. And it wasn't at the market. It's just the farm stand hasn't really sold very much this week. But it's also, this weekend's a long weekend. And sometimes long weekends, when you think sales would go up, sometimes the sales actually go down because people are like, with the flowers.
We also,
the customers are people buying them for themselves.
We put an ad up around Mother's Day, and that drove a lot of interest. And we haven't put like an ad up again. I mean, we haven't really made much of a.
We also like, it was only tulips. They're like, today's the first day I put anything but tulips out.
Yeah. I was like a bit worried about sales, but we sold $1,250 at the market on Mother's Day. I bet you we could have sold over 2,000. We might have been able to sell $2,500 in flowers. And one of the other things about flowers that I've learned, because this is the earliest we've gone to the farmers markets, because not only have we dropped the food, but we also dropped the nursery sale, right? So that
dropping the nursery sale has been incredible.
So that we could get to the farmers market earlier. And so we never went to the farmers markets at Mother's Day or these other things. And we were the only flower vendors. It's Canada, so it might be different than some of you guys down in the States, who probably have longer seasons for flowers. But tulips would be the only thing you could be selling at this time of year. And nobody was down there with tulips. The first flower vendors were there this week, and they were there mostly with lilacs and bleeding hearts.
To me, it seemed like the lilac shrubs bloomed, and then they just supplemented it with whatever else they could find.
Yeah, the point is, it was like cut flowers that come from landscaping, which I think, like, stuff that comes from landscaping can be great, but it's not as high end, right? It doesn't have that same impact, and it doesn't have that same like rarity or excitement around it, and so
and that's like a weird one to understand. Like it took us a while of seeing the pattern for us to understand too. But like, it's like lilies. If someone's down at the farmer's market with lilies during the 2 weeks when everyone's lilies is blooming in their landscaping, no one sees that as like valuable. Everyone is like, yeah, but like everyone has lilies. Like, why would I, if people think that you're not intentionally growing it, then they think that it isn't valuable.
Yeah. So I could see a lot of opportunity, especially around Mother's Day, for like other farmers markets as well, right? Like we could have a circuit that we did if we just hit it super hard in the future. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but there's nobody. somebody was like, oh, the Vernon Market, there's no flowers there right now. Are you guys going to go to that? There's the Wednesday Market. The Wednesday Market doesn't have flowers at it for, that time of year. There's just possibilities there that we could really go hard, like super hard on the tulips. We couldn't do it just the two of us. We'd have to bring in some more help. So there'd be a cost to doing it. But, I see the opportunities in going for that early flower sales that could be really substantial because imagine that you have Mother's Day sales all to yourself. You're at a market that gets thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming through it, and you're the only one there selling the thing that everybody wants, right? It was
and another point too is like, because I saw in the comments, we have 4 greenhouses plus a big one that we're putting up. We could utilize all of that space just for earlier things, for like this early time of year.
Yeah.
When there's like less competition. We could fill a greenhouse with tulips and have tulips earlier. We could, have ranunculus and anemones in there, and all these other little things that we can overwinter and get super early, and then we could like ease off and not go as hard for the summer stuff if we wanted.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't happen. I'd be like, now we go hard on the summer stuff.
But sometimes there's some markets when it's like it's so much the peak of summer that people there's still customers, but there's just not quite as many customers for some of the stuff. We noticed it with like tomatoes and some of the stuff that's just really easy to grow in Kelowna. Kelowna is an agricultural community in some levels, even if people aren't farmers themselves or whatever. Gardening is a very common hobby here because it's one of the best climates in the world for growing tomatoes. It's just so easy to grow tomatoes here because we have the hot, dry summers. So lots of stuff like, lots of sun, warm temperatures, and low humidity. It's hard to go wrong with, growing conditions like that for lots of stuff. So people either, they grew up in orchards or around the orchards or vineyards, or, they just grow their own food. And when it's that peak summer, sometimes people, they just don't need it because they're doing it themselves. They got the flowers coming out of their own garden or whatever it is.
So and this is one of the things. I think this is the reason why the flowers are so valuable. If someone has tomatoes in their garden, they don't need to buy your tomatoes. But if someone has flowers in their garden, they're not necessarily cutting the flowers out of their garden.
Also,
right? Like
they're not growing the types of flowers that you have.
But even if they are, they don't want to cut them, because if they cut them, then they're no longer in their gardens, right? So you're not when you sell cut flowers, you're not competing against home gardeners, right? And like I saw someone ask, like, are we gonna bring back the seedling sale? And I feel like I can pretty confidently say right now, like, it's never coming back.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I felt about the seedling sale was that the seedling sale customers weren't our customers. They weren't actually coming, they weren't starting the season buying our seedlings and then coming back and shopping with us again and again. And I've been proven that they're not our customers because a ton of them have contacted us, or like I've seen them, and they're people that I like recognize. They're people who are buying from us for like multiple years in a row. And I'm like, oh, well, we stopped doing the seedling sales so that we could like focus on the farm. And as a rule, every single one of them has been like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You have a farm? What do you grow?
Yeah.
So it's like these customers who came like year after year after year, they didn't even have any idea that we sold veggies or we sold flowers. So they never did come to us any other time other than to buy the seedlings.
We didn't see it as like complementary businesses. We saw it as like totally separate businesses. the nursery sale was its own thing with its, own everything, right? And then the market sales were their own things, just like growing, flowers and selling flowers at the market isn't doing YouTube. Those are two different businesses. While, growing food for the market and growing seedlings was just the same. They're totally different businesses. And there wasn't a lot of crossover for, efficiencies or anything like that. And
and like I think a good point is Ian was really nervous because so last year we made $7,000 on the seedling sale, which was a big percentage of what we made. And the year before we made $7,000 on the seedling sale out of like our $28,000. So that was like, whoa, it really was a huge amount of money. But we've made more. Well, no. We've made almost that much money on tulips.
Yeah.
Right? And tulips is something that we never could have made money on because of the seedling sale. And we've done it without having to spend, months and months and months of labor and like just drowning in the amount of work that it is. Instead it's like a fairly simple process to make like the exact same amount of money.
A slightly busy period of time around Mother's Day, but
and those people who buy tulips from us are like, oh, beautiful flowers. I can't. Oh, what's next? Right. So every single one of those customers is like a chance to build a customer who's gonna spend hundreds of dollars with us a year because they're gonna come back again and again.
When we started, I felt like we were. You're new, right? You don't know what you're doing. You feel like everybody knows what they're doing and you don't. And then, you start to find your footing. Now I feel like, we're like the flower people that, you got to compete with at the market, right? Like we're bringing these high-end flowers that are, unique, they're priced well, and they just bring people's attention. People are just drawn to them. And I feel like, with Serina's like talent for arranging and then, research to find, the next plant that she needs to grow, it takes a lot of time because you're, last year she's like, oh, I wish we had this. I wish we had that. I wish we had that. Wish we had more of that. And you don't get to put that into action until the following year. And so this year, the bouquets are going to be, there's going to be volume, and there's going to be new stuff that's going to be like really good.
But also, this year's still just experiments.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like all the things that we're trying this year are, systems to then become more solid in future years. There's a comment, someone being like, you need peonies.
Yeah.
And totally, like, I think peonies are the perfect example because when you plant peonies, you have to wait 3 years until you start harvesting them as a flower farmer. So last year we planted all these perennials, and we were able to do some picking on them. But this is the year when they're going to be there for us, and next year they're like really going to be there for us. And all those kind of things, they they take time to ramp up, but
once they're there,
they're there.
peonies, the hydrangeas, you're
thinking of Kelly
and
Diane. So we did a flower farmer tour with friends of ours, and they planted some hydrangeas, and they said that last year was the first year they kind of had seen some success with them. But last year was they were 3 or 4 years old. So it was the first year that there was like a bunch of blooms on each bush. So it was because the difference between I have enough to make a few arrangements with this.
Yeah.
And it's like tulips. Like last year we had some tulips, right? We put out some tulip bouquets. People were excited by it. But there's a difference between hey, I got some tulips and I'm going to the market with
Mhm.
like 100 tulip bouquets.
Yeah. The other reason that the nursery sale isn't coming back. Hey.
That's fine.
Ow!
Are you okay?
You step on some
Sam
Legos.
stepped on Legos. Just pull your pants up. Your butt's hanging out. That's all.
That's it. Don't touch this.
Leah, why you tail? You have to be back.
Are you guys watching the video?
No, Leah.
They're playing walkie-talkie. They're upstairs watching the video, so Sam came down to talk to Leah watching the video.
Do you want to grab the
upstairs.
kitten for us?
I'm saying. You're
yeah.
the bad boy. You're
No,
the bad.
don't do that.
Sam, stop. Yeah. So I don't. You know, it all kind of. You know.
The other thing about the nursery sale, the reason it's not coming back is, I think that those early sales, like you were saying, you know, there's all this opportunity to overwinter stuff or to get stuff going early with like greenhouses. You know, we don't have. There's not going to be the competition. You know, when people are just coming with you know, like landscape picked bouquets, they're not as exciting. And if we're coming with these like, you know, powerful cut flower bouquets,
I did it.
then you know, there's a chance to capture a lot of sales really early in the season, and that also gets people, you know, once they buy from you, then they come back and they check your stand, even if they're not buying from you that week or whatever. They're still going to come back and they know you, they bought from you, there's a personal connection. And so it's just a great way to start the season. So I think these like super targeted, powerful seasons starts are something that we can really build a strong business off of. And there's far less ability to scale up the nursery sale, because like the nursery sale is just like, oh, you want to make more money? Well, you just got to do a corresponding amount more work, right? Like, doesn't get easier. There were some good things about the nursery sale, but like how you could deal with a customer and they'd spend $80, but you know, we're selling $40 arrangements, and they're selling out, right? So this year, during the peak season, you know, I'm sure we're going to be bringing,
you know, and that was an experiment for this year, you know, and Ian was like resistant to it, right? If we go back and watch the live videos, I'm sure we could find him saying over and over again that he thought it wouldn't work.
I might have just been doing that because it makes good videos.
Yeah.
To have
No, you were legitimately, you were a non-believer. I was saying, so what we're arguing about is, last year I was saying that we were going to do only flowers and we were going to send $20 bouquets, which is like what we found we had lots of success with. But we also were going to introduce $40 bouquets. And I wanted $40 bouquets because I wanted them to be noticeably bigger. I didn't want to send $30 bouquets to the market because it would be confusing.
Clash.
So we didn't do it last week because I didn't have enough last week. But because how many have you done?
How many markets?
Yeah.
3.
3? So okay, so then, but in the video that we're gonna release
that's
tomorrow morning,
that's
market 2. So in the video we're gonna release, I sent down the $40 bouquets.
Is it raining out?
I think it is. Yeah. And you know, because $40 bouquets on Mother's Day, you know, mom deserves $40 bouquets. They sold well, but $40 bouquets the week after Mother's Day, those aren't being bought as presents. Those are
actually, one of them was bought. One of them I remember specifically was bought by a lady who was like, "I'm buying this as a late Mother's Day present to myself," and I was like, "You go."
So exactly, she bought it for herself, right? But yeah, so you know. And Ian said that it wasn't like, oh, they were the last things left on the table. They sold well.
They got their own attention, you know. Some people were drawn to them specifically, and usually those people bought them, and they weren't scared of the price at all.
Yeah, we don't even we haven't even, our new computer doesn't work with our printer, so we need to make more signs. I don't even know, did you even have a sign for them?
I was the sign. I would tell people.
Yeah, so they were like literally out there, priceless, you know, and they were still selling, you know, so with like some signage.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's how many, because people keep asking, the issue of being limited what we can send down for flowers.
I think when we get it set up properly, we could bring more than we could sell, which would be, you know, $2,000.
So
we
for context to this, 50 bouquets was the number that was like, we can only fit 50 bouquets into the truck because flowers are really delicate and you can't transport flowers in an open back of the truck. Whereas the veggies, they're all in the totes and we can transport them. So 50 was like, even if I could have made more last year, I wasn't allowed to make more because
I can't fit it anymore inside of my truck. And even the space inside the truck is like awkward because the floor is not flat and, you know, you have to squish the flowers in there a little bit. So
you know, still
it
good
was
space, but you know,
it was tight.
Better for 40 bouquets.
So this year we're gonna have a system where we can have flowers in the back of the truck. They can be like protected from the wind in one way or another, and we're gonna make that happen so that
we think we've come up with a plan. We bought like a roof rack thing because tarps is a great idea. Like I see in the comment there, but a tarp just laid over the back of the truck is gonna go like this and it's gonna smash every single flower in the back of the truck.
And we have to go like not
highway speeds,
not super highway speeds, but like, you know,
it's not the Autobahn.
50 miles per hour or something like that.
No, it would be more than that, isn't it?
It's 90
60 miles
90
per hour.
kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's 60, isn't it? Or 55?
I think 55 is 100.
No, I don't think so. Whatever. Well, for everyone but Americans, it's
I'm going like 90, but I definitely am getting past. You know, I'm driving in the slow lane. I'm careful of all this stuff because I don't want even the stuff that's not going to win. I don't want the stuff inside of the truck to shift. So I'm driving super grandpa style, and I drive kind of grandpa style anyways. But
anyway, so we bought these roof racks, and then we're gonna tarp over the roof racks. So then Ian will be able to easily get into the back of the truck because that's part of the issue. Part of the issue is, you know, if we bought a canopy, he'd have to be like crawling around. It'd be really physically difficult. So with this tarp system, you know, it's something to support a tarp up, but we haven't had to use it yet.
Yeah, but I think we could, if we had to, we could fit $2,500 worth of flowers in the truck.
Yeah, totally. Even with the $40 ones, which take up
which would be, you know, it's hard to imagine any market anywhere at any point in time where you could sell $2,500 of flowers. That's a lot of customers. You know, Mother's Day, but you know, other than that, it's like.
I predict drama. I mean, it is us, so probably wouldn't work. So the issue with an enclosed trailer is that
then I can't park.
It's very difficult.
Then I can't park.
Yeah, at the market.
Then I can't park in the market. I have to go pull off in their overflow parking, which will add, you know, 20 minutes to my day, which isn't so bad this year now that everything's easy, but it's like substantial. It was like, no, not an option last year when I was already so. Yeah, to then have to not have my truck with me, you know, to, you know, go pull it off into the overflow and then have to wait until
2 trucks.
Well, then
who's going to drive the other truck?
You know, one of
So this is my feelings because we have the truck because the truck was bought for Ian's business. It's not like we have the truck because we bought the truck for the farm. The truck is just, you know, we're not.
I had it for forestry work, so you know it's like a big 1-ton. You know, it's not really what you would choose if you were starting a flower farm, but it is, you know, it's good to have as a farm truck, and it's new and it's reliable and it's paid off, and you know if I have to go back out to forestry work, it's there and I charge out for it when I work. So I don't really want to switch over to like something else.
Yeah. So, but like if we were to be getting to the point that the truck isn't working, if we were getting to the point that it's like, oh, we need a trailer to go along with the truck, I think at that point we would potentially be talking about getting rid of the truck, selling the truck, and buying.
No truck?
Yeah, like selling the truck and buying, like, what are those, like the transits or whatever. I feel like Ian is like, no, but I feel like if it got to the point that we outgrew the truck, we would be buying like potentially like a refrigerated van.
Yeah. I've never had a car. I've never owned a car.
Well, I'm not saying you're gonna have a car.
I'm saying
that you're gonna have a work, an even more of a work vehicle.
My first.
And the other thing too is it's like if the farm was to the point that it was like, oh, we've outgrown the truck. We are selling $2,500 at every single farmer's market. Now we're talking that we're at the point that maybe we're doing delivery for bouquets.
Yeah.
Like maybe we can have like $1,000 delivery run on Thursdays, and then it makes sense to be like investing into, an actual delivery vehicle for the farm.
The other thing to keep in mind too is we don't drive a lot. So, it's not like I'm driving a truck around all the time and burning gas. I'll take it into town sometimes to run errands when I need truck stuff. But for the most part, where we are right now, this house, it was originally the town that, we're in. This was like the center of town where we are. And so we're only like, a kilometer away from where City Hall is now. It's 2 minutes to the grocery store. It's 5 minutes to a hardware store. And it's, there's all of the different services. There's the bank and there's everything all in this like really close strip to us. So there's cheaper versions of a lot of those stores, in Kelowna, if you go all the way into Kelowna. But where we are right now, we can get by without, it's like, oh, if you just need this or you just need that, you can save the time and just not go very far. So, we don't burn a lot of gas. We don't put a lot of kilometers on our vehicles.
Yeah, we like go into town like once a week for errands type thing. Yeah. And then we try to like stack all the trips into one trip. Here comes the kitten.
Where's the
toy? Okay. Okay, one other piece of like channel talking. I haven't done the members live video for the month yet, and the month is like disappeared on me. Weird, like I say this every month, but
yeah, this
is the words that come out of my mouth all the time. But legitimately, I can't believe it's the end of May already. But yeah, so I need to get on top of that. It's we're pretty busy this week, so I'll probably. So what I'll do is I'll make a community post, and we can discuss options probably for next week, even if that might be into June.
It might be into June. There's really no way to know, as I like to say, right?
And sorry, if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about, so on YouTube you can like become like a member of a channel, and it's basically like Patreon. If you go on to like the main page of the channel, there's like a join button, and then if you want to throw some money our way, you can join the thing. And then one of the things that we do for our members is every month we do a live video, and it's for members only. It's a private video, and we organize when it's going to be through community posts, and then I share like the link to access it through the community posts too.
And if you want to help us in a non-monetary way, you can leave a comment on our videos. And if you don't have a comment, then just write first. even if you're like no way the first person to comment, I just would enjoy that.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, I like stupid jokes.
So there you go. What Ian wants for this video he's been working on all week that's coming out tomorrow morning is for everyone to write first.
Yeah, and if somebody else writes first and then you write first as a reply to them, or like first reply. I'd enjoy that.
That would entertain you.
That would entertain me. But all that stuff just helps. It just, YouTube likes that. So, you know, the videos, they take so much work. I've been working a couple days on this.
We're gonna get we haven't filmed it yet, but we're gonna do a May farm tour too, because things look a lot different now.
Yeah,
things are like all super green, because I think in the last one everything was still like really brown, like the farm is all filled in. But
yep.
Yeah,
so here's the plan. Tomorrow vlog, later this week farm tour, and then start of next week the vlog
from the weekend before,
this weekend that just happened, and then
by
the end of the week
that's coming up, which that one will be about ranunculus. Then that's for
that one might take a bit, because then we have to make that video that we're not going to be able to
but I
release
think
on
we'll
YouTube.
still be able to get it done for Tuesday, and that one will also, because that's the Skillshare one, and we'll be making boutonnieres in that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Watched the tulip video 4 times.
First I have to figure out.
Okay,
which tulip video though? The
one,
Mother's Day one or the one before?
You know, the Mother's Day video, we were like, I think this is one of our best videos we've ever made.
Yeah, the Mother's Day video, like, I go back and watch that. I'm like, oh my god, the tulips, they look so good.
Yeah, and it was just a fun story, right? It's kind of like the fulfillment of
I know,
the farm.
it's exciting. I'm still pumped on how much we made.
You know, I actually wasn't making videos since like last summer, pretty much. I film videos and I'm in the videos, but Serina's been editing them. And then just the last 3 vlogs, it's kind of like, tag, you're it, and now I'm back to making the videos. So
yeah,
you know,
I don't have time to make the videos anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out there.
You know, we each have developed our own techniques for the videos that we both utilize now.
Like I say, you can tell it's an Ian video if there's writing on the screen. Yeah. I don't think Ian's ever made a video where he didn't write things on the screen.
You know, I like to provide context. It's a good tool for storytelling.
Ian likes to write jokes over top of me talking.
You should see all the jokes that I write that don't even make it into the videos. But our kids have school tomorrow.
Yep, we gotta
go
put our kids to bed, and then we gotta get back to work.
Yep, I gotta finish that video, and you gotta...
I'm gonna do dried flowers in the outbuilding tonight.
Yeah, that's your plan.
That's my plan.
Sounds like a good time.
Okay, well, thanks so much for hanging out, guys.
Yep.
And we'll probably do a live video again next week. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I think
we're getting into crunch time.
We have a lot of
we have
things
to make this extra video
culminating.
Yeah, it's like we're narrowing in the time. The time is narrowing in, and the jobs are not disappearing. Okay, but for sure we'll have the video by next week.
Well, we'll have the video by tomorrow.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Okay, thanks so much, guys.
Later.
We'll see you next